Meet you, cordial greetings. They call me Gordon Freeman, and up until this morning I was an ordinary normal human, eating and reading the ingredients on a box of cereals, then heading off to the office of anomalous materials. Realise I'm late, so I'll have to catch you later. Gotta catch a train to Black Mesa's anti-mass chamber. Put on my hazmat in case the that breaks, cause that's dangerous. You'd have to evade the blast wages of the resonance cascade. That's the last stage of it's actually happening. This is not good. This is shit.
Hey guys, that song you heard was Half-Life Epic Rap by Dan Bull, and welcome to episode 4 of the
Shodcast.
There we go. And we've got with us this week Govind, as usual, Rach and Ronan as well as per.
Hello.
And we're all having a bit of trouble off the bat here. So I'm Michael, I'm the moderator, and let's get straight into it. As usual, we'll start off with been playing. Ronan, what have you been playing?
War Thunder, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Back to one of the old classics. I've only got about 300 hours in it, I think.
Only.
No, I mean, not even close.
So what is War Thunder?
War Thunder is a plain, simulator arcade. It's got so many different modes that it's kind of hard to nail down, I suppose.
So from what I understand, it's kind of like a more simulation-y version of what Battlefield tries to do, but without the first person, like all the vehicle stuff.
It's a dogfight simulator,
Battlefield,
isn't it? Like
is it only planes? I thought it had tanks and stuff.
There's planes, and now they've added tanks, and soon to be, they're saying soon to be naval combat as well, and then hopefully ground troops, but I'm guessing that's 5-10 years down the track.
Okay, so it's aiming to be kind of like Flashpoint, Battlefield, that sort of thing, but a bit more hardcore.
This is like, it's a lot better. You can actually play historical battles or simulator or realistic. So like you have to know how to use the ailerons and adjust, the temperature of the engine, and so it can be really complex. Or you can just play arcade mode where it's just, just turn, shoot, and try not to crash into a mountain.
It's like the old dungeon crawlers where you can move forward, you can move left, or move right.
Yeah.
I think when you have
it's a very fun game.
when you have the arcade, when you have the arcade style, it's mostly fun oriented, where you don't have to worry about stalling and all the technical plane mechanics.
So that's more of what we come to expect from games now.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's from anyone that just wants to, get in and shoot people in a plane or a tank, to those real enthusiasts that want to historically recreate a battle, have to use every single thing like a total simulator.
Okay, cool. Your mic's going a little bit fuzzy, but we're going to move on. I've been playing... I don't even remember what I've been playing. I've been playing the Old City Leviathan, which is a game that I think Gavin's probably the only one that's heard of. Either of you two heard of it?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Oh, you have.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, for the next 3 or 4 minutes, anyone that's listening and might be interested in playing the game, don't listen, because it's impossible to talk about the game without spoilers. So, with that, I'll give you a couple of seconds to pause or whatever. Okay, that's it. So, the Old City Leviathan is a really interesting game based on the biblical story of Jonah. Now, I don't know much about the biblical story, but from what I've read, it's something along the lines of there's this guy Jonah who believes that everyone has been swallowed by a massive sea creature called the Leviathan. This myth exists not just in the Bible; it's also in Judaism and a couple of other religions.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, well, that's when you're playing it, it feels a bit. Some bits feel a bit like that, but there's a bit more to it as well. In that Jonah starts to have dreams and can't tell which parts of reality are his dreams and which are real, and he starts to give in to his dreams and go insane.
Oh, wonderful!
So the game's based around that, and basically what happens is you start off in this like completely gutted city. Like you're in the city and there's not really any sign of anyone. There's a few like little blood splatters here and there, but it doesn't like look too sinister. Then as you're going through, something happens, and all of a sudden, then you can see the city how it actually is, and there's like all these rotting corpses everywhere, and people have hung themselves, and all this stuff, and it just like gets progressively more and more distorted. But like the levels go from that to then like you're looking, walking through this like kingdom in the clouds. It's really colorful and beautiful, and it's so hard to explain. It's such a
I really kind of want to play this game now.
I recommend it really strongly. The only thing is, be prepared to invest time in it. I spent 2 hours in it, but I need to go through and play it again because I didn't read any of the notes that were around.
Okay.
And apparently there's a 30,000 word plus novella that they've written to add context to everything, spread throughout the world.
Wow.
And like it's really good game. Like it's completely exploration based. There's no combat, but it has that whole like really uneasy foreboding feeling the entire time. And like I was talking to Gvind when I was playing it, and like the narrator, when the narrator started talking, I jumped because I was expecting jump scares and that sort of thing. So I strongly recommend anyone who's interested in really weird out there exploration games, give that a go.
The whole game goes for 2 hours, or?
Yeah, what the developers say, they say that there's probably about 6 hours of content there if you stop and read most of the notes.
Okay.
It is part 1 of a 3-part series, though, so they are going to make more, but they're making another game in the meantime. But like,
does it have like a cliffhanger sort of feel to it with the end?
I don't really want to spoil, but not
No,
really.
no.
It's yes and no at the same time. It really depends on how much you read into it, and like because the game is so open to interpretation. But like it's really cool. Like I like just the stuff like the narrator is actually a different character, but it sounds like a voice of reason that as your character is starting to embrace his dreams and leave reality, the voice of reason's like, fuck you, that's okay, when you kill yourself I'll be free of you, and that sort of thing. So like it is nuts. It's like it's so dark and so beautiful and everything, so
I might give it a go.
yeah. Okay. So I think it's about $12 or something like that, but well worth the purchase, I reckon.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Gavin, you're up next. What have you been playing?
I've been playing Car Mechanic Simulator 2015.
That looked interesting. I have no interest in playing it, but it looked interesting anyway.
It has a lot of dubstep music. That's the first thing.
Okay, I'm there.
Because it all starts all peaceful and then it gets really violent very quick. I got the keys to cover the game, and then I thought of doing a Let's Play series, so I was playing that. It turns out it wasn't a lot of fun because I love cars, and I love how things work and figuring those things out, like why the piston moves and fuel injection and all that. But I never actually got to work on a car because I'm pretty sure I'll break it. So getting me this game was awesome because I got to be a grease monkey because without
getting your hands dirty.
Grease. Yeah, exactly. It does get a bit repetitive, so be on guard for that because you'll get similar orders because most of car mechanics do, but you'll also get some like orders that are way out there, like you have to figure out what's wrong, you have to take it for a test drive, figure it out, fix it, take it for another test drive. So if you're into that sort of like those tycoon simulator ones, this is the game for you. Yeah.
So it's actually what the title suggests. It's not like you're messing around with bits of cars to make a car. It's actually you're playing a mechanic who has customers that come.
Yeah, you're playing a mechanic. You get orders via your phone. So you click the phone, you click an order, you click accept. Loading screen appears, and then you have the car that you took the order of, and then you have to start working on it, and then you finish the job, you get paid, you take another order. So it's pretty much the same. I haven't gone deep enough to know if there's any real progress towards your company getting bigger and bigger or something, or if you're able to take multiple orders.
Yep.
So far, I've just taken one at a time and done that. So it's fun. Yeah, it's fun if you're into that sort of like. It's borderline edutainment because you can actually. It's quite realistic the way everything's screwed on, the way everything's connected. So you can actually learn about cars if you.
So it's a good
play this
training
game.
tool for like mechanics in training.
Yeah, it is. But I fixed an engine block in that car, and you have to basically take out every single piece on your engine to get to the engine block. I wouldn't do that in real life though. So it's more like edutainment, but don't try this at home on your dad's car sort of deal.
It's like being a Mercedes mechanic. You don't get dirty.
Okay, sounds interesting. Rach, what do you got for us?
So first and foremost, I've got a retraction from last week, last fortnight. I mentioned Mortal Kombat X, the iPad version. Straight after that, every time I play a battle, it gets stuck on the loading screen when I win.
Well, that's how.
There have been.
It was probably a paywall. You probably got to pay to get past the loading screen.
Yeah, if you pay, you get.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
totally retract my statement from last fortnight. But this week I've been playing Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, the remake or the original?
The remake.
It's still pretty good.
Yes, yeah. I've been playing it on PS3. But I used to play it on the Sega Master System, I think it was, as a kid. And basically, it's just, the evil witch Mirabelle kidnaps Minnie, and you've got to go through all the levels of her castle to win gems to save her. Jumping base game, so Gavin would hate it.
Yeah, but it's not like dead jumping. It's like traditional platformer.
Hey, it's
True.
like Mario, isn't it? I haven't played it.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know. Maybe.
It does have that whole like floaty shoe feeling to it, though.
Yeah. It is frustrating as hell. And you cannot skip cutscenes. So every time you die, and then you got a cutscene at the beginning, you got to watch it over and over and
That
over.
is the worst. Like,
Sounds like my
I
living
get
hell.
making it so you can't skip a cutscene the first time. I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, me
But
too.
once it's been played once in a save game, you should be able to skip it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be like hold down A to skip sort of deal.
Yeah.
Even if you just like don't get to. That's like one of the biggest pet peeve I have of some games. They have uber long cutscenes.
Yeah.
This is what single-handedly stopped me from playing Metal Gear Solid ever again.
I feel your pain, Gavin.
No, come on. 2 hours at the end of a game is not too much to ask. Come on.
Because I love the game, right? I love this lore. I love the game. I love the whole. Actually, it's like one of the few games that came out of Japan that I actually loved. Because I'm not the JRPG fan. I'm not into Final Fantasy and all that. You know, all that. But cutscenes, damn, you listen to them, and then,
not just cutscenes with that game though. Like I've told you before, the reason I never got into Metal Gear was the first time I played one. I don't even remember. I think it must have been 2 or 3. And I sat down, and it wasn't cutscenes at that point. It was radio messages, and I just couldn't like. It was like 15 minutes straight of this guy just telling me tutorial stuff over the radio messages, and I couldn't advance until he was done. And I was like, what the hell? What is this? This isn't a game.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's a great time to go for a toilet break. I quite often did that. Then I came back and he's still chatting on the radio.
Yeah, but it's just one big issue I have with most games, and it can really take any enjoyment you get from the game and ruin it.
Yeah.
With just that.
Okay, so that's an interesting mix of games. We had a car sim or car mechanic tycoon game, a battlefield simulation game, a first-person exploration, and a third-person platformer. That's a good mix.
I think that's as good a mix as you're gonna get.
Pretty much.
Okay, so normally in the past, this point, guys, we would go through to the early access. We're actually going to move stuff around from this episode on, try and get pacing going a bit better, so that'll come later. We're going to jump straight into the meaty topic of news topics. So, I think this is... There's a nice musical noise. We're all about sound effects this week. So I think this is the 3rd episode in a row where I've said this. It was a slow news news fortnight again.
So I
there
think
were.
that goes up to about 1.5 months now.
Well, I mean, the
Slow
first
news.
week we had was the first episode was really good. There was lots of news then,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
oh well,
and then it just died down.
there was one really big one. I don't know how much you guys have seen. As usual, I haven't prepped the guys on what we're talking about. They just get told now.
Right.
Did anyone see this thing that Steam did with Workshop last week?
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I don't sort of know what's going on.
I actually talked to Ronan about it for a bit, I think, before we
Yeah?
tried to boot up ESO and realized that he was on US and I was on EU.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for those
But
at
yeah.
home, and just to clarify everything, Steam or Valve on the April the 23rd announced that they were, in conjunction with Bethesda, going to make it so that Skyrim mods were possible for the creators to make purchasable. This meant that all the mods that were there for Skyrim that were completely free beforehand potentially could become pay to access.
Yeah.
Meaning that someone like myself, I've got about 70 mods installed on Skyrim. If all those mod creators decided they were going to be purchasable ones, I would then lose access to them.
Entirely,
Okay.
yeah.
Bethesda was totally on board. Valve were obviously very on board. It was meant to be the first game they did it with. They were planning on bringing it out over all other titles eventually. Up until this point, the only thing that people could make money off of with Workshop was selling items like Left 4 Dead guns and hats for Team Fortress and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, this was obviously met with quite a lot of backlash.
Oh, it's going to be in a second.
Well, anyway, so the price was going to be set by the mod developer. It wasn't up to Valve or Bethesda to change that. And Bethesda were actually apparently they've been talking about this since 2012. And then the main delay was that Bethesda were. This is Bethesda's words, so I'm just taking their words with a grain of salt. But the main thing that delayed it all happening was that Bethesda were really insistent that it had to be an open marketplace, meaning that neither Bethesda or Valve were able to control how much things were worth, which ones were advertised, etc. It was all up to the developers and up to the community to rate things up to get to the top of the list and all that sort of thing.
Right.
Now, the biggest point of contention was how the pay got split up. Valve were taking their usual 30%. Every sale on Steam gets 30%. So whether that's good or not, at least they're consistent, I guess. Bethesda were taking 45%, which up to you. We'll talk about whether that's fair or not afterwards. And that left 25% for the content creator. Keeping in mind that the content creator didn't have to make their mod purchasable, so it's like you're signing up to get screwed over. I mean, signing up to get that 25%.
Yeah, same thing.
Now,
So if you actually want to sell it,
yep.
yeah, whatever.
Like I said, it was met with a lot of contention. There was a petition set up that had over 130,000 signatures within a couple of days. And after Bethesda made a massive post defending the whole system on Monday night, I think it was, Valve pulled the system the next day. And so it's no longer there. They've cancelled the system. They said, released a press statement saying, okay, we understand this isn't what you want. We thought this was a good idea. You guys have left us a dump truckload of stuff in our inbox for us to sift through. We've read the petitions. Obviously, you don't want it. Okay. Bethesda also released a press statement earlier today, I think it was. So we're recording on Wednesday, guys, saying that more or less the same thing. They were like, we thought this could be a really good thing. That's okay. You guys didn't like it. We're happy to pull it. No hard feelings. Anyone who bought a mod in the meantime has been refunded entirely.
Okay.
But during that time, there was a lot of phony protest mods released. I'm just going to get the article up here. There was some made that was the extra apple mod, which was priced at $35. It does exactly what it promises, adds an extra apple to the counter in the Bannered Mare.
For $35.
Yep, the Rubbish Bucket DLC, which provides a bucket for your rubbish, or at least it will when it's done, because it's currently in early access. Instead of a bucket, it's just a pile of wood on the ground. But you can put your rubbish on it, as long as you've installed the Rubbish mod. That is, which will set you back another $3. There was the Literally Nothing mod, which clever title.
Did nothing.
Yeah, well, yes,
So
what it promises.
there was a whole lot of ones that were like Gabe Newell's face. That was all it was, and things like that. But there were some other ones, like there was a lot of people also were like, oh, this looks like a way I could make some money, and started to pick up and do some reasonably decent mods as well. Like there was a chicken companion mod, which was a chicken with a little dragonborn helmet and things like that.
Well, that's
So
kinda cute,
it
but-
did stir like interest in what is slowly becoming a bit of a dated modding scene now. But overall, not good. There was a whole lot of mods like the Sky UI, which I know Govind and I definitely both have used for Skyrim. The next version of that was going to be behind a paywall. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
there was a lot of things going on. It was a really big deal. It was all over the internet. I'm not surprised that you guys all had seen about it.
Yeah.
So the biggest points I think to consider is that creators obviously do deserve to make money, and currently the only way they can do that is via donations, because most of the assets they use are owned by Bethesda.
Mm.
That
Right.
doesn't mean that every creator like needs to make money. Most of them are happy to release it for free. Having a set system in place for those transactions realistically is probably a good way to do it, but it needs to be done right, and obviously this wasn't the way to do it given the backlash. And also doing it on a game that's already got such a highly established mod scene, probably not a good candidate to start with. So, without leading any questions, what's thoughts on this whole debacle, guys?
My first thought is, has Bethesda been hanging out with Nintendo?
Here comes the
Capcom.
Nintendo hate. Hey,
No,
Nintendo just
seriously.
released a free DLC for Mario Kart.
Oh, that's nice, but does that not sound like the Nintendo affiliate program?
I'd
Like,
say
I'm-
Valve more sounds like Nintendo in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Look, I'm glad they obviously listened and then scratched it. But yeah,
They
I
couldn't
don't know.
not, really, could
Yeah.
they? Like, it would have been such a bad PR move to keep it in place.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I think they went really. It started off on the wrong foot itself. Like Bethesda taking 45%. That is just nuts. For
Yeah.
something. I know they're using their assets and all that. I get that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
as
get it.
playing devil's advocate here, like, if you look at sites like TurboSquid, which is a site that just sell 3D models, they take 80% of sales. Like, it's actually, but 45 is actually really good compared to a lot of other systems in place around the internet for content
I know,
creation.
but it's still. I think when you have such a massive group of people looking into it, like I didn't hear about the Squid Place, Super Squid, whatever they call it.
TurboSquid, it's probably the
but-
biggest internet depository for 3D models available.
Yes,
these days.
that's for only 3D modelers though. But when you're a game company in front of gamers across the board, not just people who mod and make mods, but people who just use Steam to play games, even they get to see the whole 45% thing.
Yeah.
it is just appalling, personally, to see that take place. And I was actually thinking, because I did a lot of modding on, as in we downloaded a lot of mods via Nexus, via all that for Skyrim as well. So I was actually thinking, what's going to happen to all those mods?
Yeah, well, I
and then
guess
I
it
was thinking-
would have been up to the content creators' discretion as to whether they removed them from Nexus or not, really.
Right. And I was thinking, like, this would kind of, if anything, give advantage to the people who own, like, disc copies of Skyrim and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they'd still get to keep their mods and not have any issues and all that. And it would just
Well, no,
increase...
Skyrim, all your disc copies run through Steam anyway.
Oh, okay. Because it was just... I saw the good side of it. I didn't know about the 45% percent cut that Bethesda took. I did see the good side of it.
Yep.
Of the modders getting, a little more direct way of getting remunerated for.
One other thing I should add in there as well. On top of the 45% cut, you needed to make $100 worth of your credit before they would pay out. So you needed to sell $400 worth of content before you got your $100 first payment.
Yeah, so that's it. Just seems like Valve and Bethesda just doing a really bad money grab thing, because it's like the YouTube thing. You need to make $100, and I think we had like 100th of that, if at all.
We had about $5 or $8 or something like that. Total.
Yes, and you can't get it out. See, there's no reason that Steam can't allow them to take that out as Steam Wallet Cash.
Well, I mean, you get sales of minimum 3 cents for trading cards, so there's not really a reason for them not to do it. And
it looks like a money grab that they did with Bethesda, who apparently have lost their minds.
Well, I mean, I guess if I was Bethesda and Valve came at me with this pitch, I wouldn't say no.
You would think, though.
Keeping in mind, this is most likely Bethesda Softworks, not the actual developers, but the company, like ZeniMax Studios, Bethesda Softworks.
Right.
The other thing that's worth mentioning as well is that Steam made it quite hard to find the percentages. Because Andrew, our news correspondent, actually initially told me about this. And I went looking for the confirmation of these numbers, and they're very hard to find. You need to click on an FAQ, then click on a sales FAQ, then scroll down to find a specific question that then has a link to the payment breakdown as well.
Jesus.
So Valve didn't hide the information, but they tried to bury it a bit.
Yeah.
So
it's just bad in so many ways. I like the concept. I like the original concept they had with an open market, but without them being the ones who stand to make the most money. Let the modders make the money. If they had
make it an even split between Bethesda and modders. That's how I would have.
Yeah, make it 50% modders, 50% Bethesda and Steam. Whatever.
I don't think that was ever going to happen. I think 30 to Steam and then 35 to each. Bethesda and the modders would have been more likely, but
again, that's fine as long as you give the money to the modders. Why do you have to wait till they make $100? Because I'm pretty sure Bethesda doesn't have to wait to make like $100 million before they get their money from Valve.
Yeah, but if you do any research with Steam interacting with developers, you'll find that everything on Steam takes forever. It's Valve that has to pull all the switches. So
it is just it is that thing with the whole sort of monopoly setting in as far as games and all that is concerned, as far as game distribution is concerned, and I think it's just really in bad taste for Bethesda, which is a company I actually kind of like because of the games are pretty awesome across the board. It's just sad. It's just bad. I mean,
Ronan, you've been very quiet on this whole issue, and you were the most ready to go.
Yeah.
What's up?
I could do a 2-hour podcast on this one.
Give us the heavily abridged version.
I have been such a fan of Bethesda since I was a wee little one. I mean, this franchise I've been following for 20 odd years, and I've never been so gutted that in the last year and a half.
Yeah, because you don't like ESO either, do you?
I mean, I really do, but I don't like the way...
It's not an Elder Scroll game.
It's not an Elder Scrolls game. It's just an MMO that they've slapped a skin on, and one decent part I like, which I think you hate, is the Cyrodiil kind of siege warfare
Yeah, I'm not
stuff.
PvP. I don't like PvP in MMO.
They've kind of done in other games anyway. With whatever it was, League Legends and a few other things, and but the way they're taking the company at the moment is really disheartening.
I think what's happened is Bethesda have got really big, They used to be just a developer that had a couple of little side studios, and now they're ZeniMax, and
they're Blizzard.
They're like I was saying to Gavin the other day, they're the next Blizzard. They've got the same caliber of titles as Blizzard had. They've got the same like fingers in as many pies as Blizzard had. They've got the same rabid following that Blizzard had, and they've got the same money more or less that Blizzard had now. Blizzard still have more because of WoW.
They've probably made 3 of my top 10 games ever.
Yep.
And now I'm at the point of anything else they bring out, I am so skeptical that I may not ever buy anything they've got again unless it's, a couple of years down the track when I realise that it might actually be good.
Okay. See, I'm not. I think a lot more it lies with Valve here. I've not, despite my collection on Steam, I've never been a fan of Steam. I don't like the way that Steam operates, and I don't like the way they treat developers generally. And I think the way that everything was hidden behind a whole lot of links and stuff is a bit of an indicator that Valve might be a little bit more behind this. And I don't understand why Valve deserved 30% of this particular sale. What
did they do?
Yeah, what did they do? It's not even like they don't even promote those mods. Those mods sit in the workshop. At least with the games they sit on, they get promotion and stuff like that. They hold a tiny amount of hosting. Some of these mods are less than 1 meg. If that mod does a whole lot of changes to the game and costs $10 and is worth the $10, whatever. You can do a lot with 1 meg when it's just code.
I think they just saw money and forgot about the community.
Yeah, I don't. So
they're gonna reap the whirlwind. So.
As much as I put Half-Life 2 Half-Life in general, up on a really high pinnacle, I've never been a fan of Valve themselves, and a lot of their other games I don't like, and it's because of this stuff. And to extend that, have any of you guys listened to the Game Slice podcast with Gabe Newell and Jeff Keighley that came out a couple of months ago?
No, I remember you talking to me about it.
Okay,
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but yeah.
Well, there's a new podcaster, Jeff Keighley, who I assume we all know who he is.
Yeah, E3 Spike.
Yeah, he's arguably the biggest name in games journalism. He's one of the very few actual journalists left that actually goes and does his own research and stuff. But he started a new podcast and had Gabe Newell and one of the other guys from Valve, who I cannot remember the name of, unfortunately, on. And Gabe, he was pressing about Half-Life 3 without actually specifically talking about Half-Life 3, but everyone, Gabe, Jeff, the other guy, and the entire audience know that we're talking about Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
And Gabe flat out said that the way that Valve is structured, the only reason they would ever make and I quote, classic game like that, so a first-person story-driven shooter, is a classic game, apparently, according to him, is if everyone in Valve decided that there was a reason to do so, sat down and then came up with a decent way to do it. So you look at their recent titles, Dota, they're pushing Team Fortress, that's getting both of those are getting updated to the new Source engine. They're going free to play. They're doing the Steam, they're trying to get away from Microsoft to get more money from gamers and all that stuff. They're not a games company anymore. They're a business. They are entirely business.
A conglomerate, so to speak.
They're a distribution.
It's all about the money.
That's it. And as someone who is a massive fan of Half-Life and wants Half-Life 3, and there was an interview with Warren Spector the other day, who made Deus Ex 1 and what's the other big game he made? Some really big platform game that I can't remember the name of right now. He made Epic Mickey. He's the creative mind behind those games. Yeah. But obviously that game didn't do well, but he's a very highly respected creative director in the games industry. He was working on something that was for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 and had a whole lot of stuff made, and then Valve just canned it, basically. They're not interested in games. They're interested in games making the money.
I get it. Because
that's a statement on the state of the industry at the moment.
Yeah. When the biggest distribution platform doesn't care about the games, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think Valve are just happy taking 30% of every game ever made. That's on Steam. That's sold. Why would you want to make games? I mean, you don't have to take any sort of investment. You just keep the server side running. You just
Well, I mean,
do
it's the same
customer
reason
side.
that Blizzard didn't do anything for so long when WoW was doing well. Like, when you're making that sort of money, why do you need to? Like, there's only it doesn't matter how passionate about something you are. There's only so many dollars someone can throw in your face before you go, I like this.
This feels good.
Yeah.
True integrity. That's money.
So, with that in mind,
and-
I'm a lot more willing to blame Valve for this one and just say that Bethesda should have probably thought a bit more, but probably didn't.
It was really bad taste by Bethesda. I mean, this is Valve's idea. You can see it's Valve's brainchild. Like you get that image out of it. Like, with the whole, they just basically saw all these mods that were right there that were being shared for free, and they just thought, how do we make 30% of that? And then they just went for the highest modded one, which is Elder Scrolls, which is Skyrim in particular. In Workshop, I think that had the most mods.
I think TF2 still has more content.
But
or maybe Left 4 Dead, but Skyrim's definitely the one that's always in the spotlight.
Yeah, it's the most modded of all.
And they didn't want to basically risk their own game with it.
Yeah.
Because then people would be like, oh, it's all Valve. So they did the smart thing, got Bethesda, and then we're like, hey, buddy, you want to know? We'll give you more money. And then they just fell for it, and that was it.
And I think
so
I think it's telling as well that if Valve were really passionate about games, they wouldn't let the whole early access stuff go down the way it has as well. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
They would have some sort of
That should be a topic for
policing,
next
some sort of refunding for the people who did pay for the early access titles that didn't get it back.
That is one thing I will say that I was surprised. Steam or Valve said in the thing that if you didn't couldn't get to work, or it wasn't satisfactory, these mods that you bought, you had 24 hours to get a refund without hesitation.
That I read, yes, yeah.
Which surprised me. Looks like they might be listening a tiny bit, but it's like, here, have a slice of cake while I go throw the rest in the bin, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've never actually had a problem getting a refund from Valve or Steam,
I've never tried. If I buy a bag,
I don't know why
don't even want to
their
deal with
service is apparently so bad.
Yeah.
Because their support's actually been pretty good for me.
Okay.
But it's just the way they go about their business practices is a bit...
Yeah, the first episode we were talking about them getting
the bad rating,
I think. Yeah, from the Better Business Bureau or something. So yeah, it's kind of telling that Valve, the whole direction they're taking is just based solely on numbers. They're not really gonna care about making a product that people say, oh, this was the game of the century or the decade. They just want...
Yeah.
They don't care. If you buy Grand Theft Auto via Steam, they still get 30% of the $59.99 price. Why would they want to make a game for just another 20% or like another 20?
The entire industry is doing the same thing, Everyone's just going for that money, and we can churn out crap and people pay, then who cares?
Right, yeah.
They keep paying, we'll keep churning it out.
Yeah.
It's up to the responsibility of the people who buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we've more or less covered the question. So obviously we don't think Valve was in good mood here. A good ideas country.
Terrible.
25% is obviously not enough, I think, is what we've got across the board for the content creator. And obviously I think we all are on board that the uprising that happened was justified, yeah?
Hell yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Very creative too. If they did the whole
the
game
mods
face.
I kept that open just because I thought that was a good thing to make reference to. Okay, so anyone else have any thoughts to add? I, by all means, have only done maybe an hour or so research on this, so there's possibly a whole lot of other things that I've missed. But most of the sites seem to have very similar stuff, and the FAQ seems to have corroborating information with it as well.
Yeah.
So that was the big one. There were another couple of interesting ones. This one's not super interesting, but it struck me as odd. The game we've talked about before, Project Cars.
Oh, yep.
the
It's
developer.
in the roundup.
Yeah, it's finally got a release date apparently.
Yep.
Which is it's got a release month, which is like September or something like that. But
Actually, it has a release date.
oh, it does.
There's a
Okay.
date now.
Yeah, May 7th. So
Okay.
it's pretty close.
Okay, well, it's taken them long enough anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. This has been in production development for I think 5 years.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
guess because I've been hearing this for a long time.
But the
So, yeah.
thing that was interesting is that the developer, I think it was the head guy. I'm just trying to find his name. I can't see it. But he's come out, Andy Tudor, which is the creative director. He apparently in the Xbox One and PS4 versions that are coming, they have added in a whole lot of visual effects settings to the console version. So you can change the lens flare, you can change the bloom, you can change heat haze, all this stuff that isn't normally on console. And he basically said that console gamers deserve all these graphic settings, and to not have them is wrong, because you shouldn't have to accept a game as it is, as the creator intended it. Blah blah blah. Now, I think this is stupid. He's not talking about resolution, vertical sync, anisotropic filtering, or anything like that. He's not talking about the really beefy stuff that makes your console not work if it's not and optimized that. But it's still stuff like bloom, the vignette, lens flares, and all that can have a hit on performance. Obviously, there is a shit ton of different versions of every console that come out over the cycle. And they're all meant to run the games the same, but they don't. Like we saw that with the Xbox 360 and PS3. There was a lot of games that ran really poorly on their original release versions, and actually some that ran really poorly on the late versions as well.
Yeah.
What's the thoughts on this? Because it just seems stupid to me. I can't believe a developer is saying that this stuff should be enabled. When I feel like a developer's meant to make a game to represent their vision. So when you've got a fixed system where you know what the settings are, you should pick those settings that best represent your vision and set them in stone because you know that it's going to run. And B, how the hell are they, what's going to happen later when one of these dodgy versions, dodgy releases of a console comes out? I don't know. Thoughts, anyone?
I'll go by saying that they just. I think that the person just wanted a cheap pop, so to speak, get the applause of the crowd that he was talking to at that moment, and it was more of a momentary lapse in judgment, is what I would say.
Well, I mean, I get it when it's things like film grain and stuff that completely changes it. But then even then, if a game is intended to have film grain, it should be locked on. That's the developers. I hate film grain. I used the mod for Dying Light to turn it off as soon as it came out. But I wouldn't be angry if I couldn't do that. I would have been I hate film grain.
I think considering that most consoles that, let's say, for the next couple of years will pretty much be able to run everything the same way with the same, just it's at least the consoles that are out right now are if you have an Xbox One and the other guy has an Xbox One, you're pretty much running the same thing. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Unless you're playing Destiny and it's running at 720 instead of 1080, but
yeah. You're not running an Xbox One Plus and the other guy's not running Xbox One Plus Plus. It's the same thing.
I believe the original release version did have a slightly slower clock speed than the ones. I'm not 100% sure. I know there was talk of it. Yeah, and that's really common as well, but I might be wrong.
Instead of playing it at the right speeds, it was just
right.
It was 720 playing at 10 or upgrade to 1080 or whatever.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of minor differences in hardware between the release version and the one that's out now, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, so the thing is, unless you can have a performance issue with the max setting on the first one, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to lower your graphics setting if it runs on?
I mean, arguably they're not lowering it though. They're just turning off little features like.
Well, maybe you want to turn Destiny into LA Noire or. Whatever thing you got going on, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see the big point of it. I don't think it's like a really good feature to boast about. If you have it, good, shut up, move on, sort of deal. Like, I don't think it's gonna be something that people go like, "Oh my God, this game has it. This game doesn't. I'm getting that game." It's just seems average.
I feel like maybe the game runs like shit, and at the moment they need to turn a whole lot of those settings off, and they want to be able to patch them later.
Yeah, they just want to do that, so they're giving it like the PR spin around it and just saying, you know what, we're letting you lower it all.
We
to
did it
get
on
better.
purpose. It wasn't the fact
Yeah.
we're crap.
I mean, the
it
other
wasn't
thing
the
is,
fact that we have a.
it's hard
Yeah.
enough as it is to troubleshoot bugs with console titles as it is. Adding another,
Yeah.
what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 extra settings.
I don't. It's just a. It's just. I think the developer just, like I was saying, just trying to get some cheap applause out of a feature that really no one gives a shit about. Like you said, if it was VSync, if it was anisotropic filtering, if it was resolution, then I would actually be applauding them myself, because that's awesome if they manage to do that.
Yeah, the key being if they manage to.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. But this, I think they just want to be like, oh, you know what? We're better than all the other game development companies that have been here since, like, I don't know, the Commodore 64 or whatever. Just started 5 years ago, but we're still giving you better options. I think that's what they kind of went for, and I think that was just a bad move, PR wise, I guess.
Okay. Any other thoughts, guys?
Nope,
No,
I think that's
okay.
it.
There was another story that I forgot about, but I'm just going to quickly touch on. We'll just do a quick one. Talking about Valve's customer support made me think of this. Govind, I've already spoke to him about it briefly. GTA 5 came out on PC, obviously, recently. I don't know if you guys
Your favourite
know.
game?
Yeah, I don't care.
No,
but, a lot of accounts got hacked, and people lost their access to the game. Which, you know, there's people have been waiting for the PC version for what, almost 2 years now? A year and a half, something like that?
Yeah.
2 years, yeah, September 2013.
And the long and short of it is that it's social clubs. Like Rockstar Social Club is the weakness, as much as Rockstar are like, it's not Social Club, it must be something else.
Yeah.
There's been hacked across all 3 platforms now, with a whole lot of people who had unique passwords on their Social Club, and that's the password they've had to change to stop people getting access. Like, there is enough community research that clearly points to Social Club being the weakness. The problem here is that people have rang up Rockstar support to say, hey, my account's been hacked, I lodged the online ticket with you guys, but you haven't done anything, what do I do? And basically they've been told, our understanding at this time is that we cannot fix the problem for you, so goodbye and hang up.
Pretty much.
And they have it in their script to hang up.
There's a guy, Game Nexus, who is a website I've seen a couple of times. They do quite a lot of active research with stuff like this, where they'll ring support groups and that, and he's recorded a whole lot of calls. Obviously they could be doctored, but there's a lot of records of these going on, and they're all over YouTube, all over Reddit, everything. So he's not the only one that's done it. He rang up 4 separate times. 3 times he was hung up on, and the other time a guy did the script and then waited, and he was able to question him, and the guy basically said, yeah, this is what we've been told to do.
Yeah, we have to hang up. Yeah.
When
Holy shit.
when Game Nexus published this article, Rockstar was pretty quick on the bat and were like, we haven't told him to do that, we're investigating what's happening and we'll fix it.
He's got fired. That's what's happening.
Now, obviously, I don't know how anyone thinks they can get away with this, whether they're using a third-party support service or what, I don't know, but
Yeah.
anyone who thinks that they can just hang up on customers as a part of their script, not just a once-off, like every time someone rings up with over 2,500 accounts have been hacked, so there's potentially up to that many people ringing up. Someone's going to say something and someone else is going to say, hey, they did that to me too, and it's going to start a conversation. What the hell?
I guarantee several people were recording it. So
Yeah. Anyone got any thoughts on this? I don't really have any questions because I didn't prep this conversation, this one, but...
Well, because I've noticed a whole bunch of streamers and YouTubers that have been going through this, one of the latest things, and they've sort of been playing as downloading. Like you can sort of do both.
Yep. And
That's why
that
you
was
still-
the first weakness that a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
people
when
were
you're
able
still
to get.
downloading, and it's like you dumbass. I mean, I'm sure you want to be the first person out there, get the most views, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. But you're leaving yourself open, and that's why you're getting hacked.
But
you're
that
getting these
wasn't the
issues and
only one.
problems.
The Rockstar Social Club just got flat out hacked as well. And
Yeah,
people-
It was basically Heartbleed that
It's-
stuck around as well.
It's the way to go these days. It's the newest, latest, greatest thing, so let's all just attack it as hard and fast as we can.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming Rockstar for getting hacked. I guess I am kind of. I mean, they should have figured out a better way to protect their own customers. But when you have a customer call you and tell you, "Hey, buddy, I paid about $60 for this. I can't play it," and he's all calm. That's the thing. He's not yelling at the guy. He's not yelling at, and he's very calm when he's talking. I listened to the clip. I listened to the video, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, this is what happened. Can I get an update on it? All you need to do is we're trying to see. Sorry, we can," and then just change the topic and go, "Is there something I can help you with other than this?" You're not supposed to hang up. That is just inexcusable.
Rule 1 of customer support on the phones, and Rach,
Yes.
I'm sure you can attest to this because you do
No
it
matter
for a
how
living.
much they rage.
You never hang up on the person, do you? You let
Do
them terminate the
not
call.
Hang up. Yeah.
You can
and-
circle back.
Well,
you can
I mean,
keep going
obviously
around,
there
but
are
just don't
instances-
There are certain circumstances where you do need to hang up on a customer,
Yeah,
but
but-
no. Until the customer's needs are fulfilled, you do not end that call.
Yeah.
Right, and this is the thing that's in the script that is just insane.
It's like, get in trouble, hang up.
I have one
Jeez.
word for this whole scenario: outsourced.
Yeah, but I mean, even so,
Are you talking
like,
about the
Outsourced,
thinking
it
of
is-
this? Like, because when they were thinking, they outsourced it.
even
It's
so,
just-
like,
that's
I don't know.
I'm
And
pretty sure
the,
90. Right.
the best thing is that when you listen to this clip, all the guys sound like skaters. Like, all 4 of the guys he talks to sound
Yeah,
like these
funny,
guys
yeah.
are in their late teens, early 20s, sitting in mum's basement, just
Yeah.
making some bucks. Like,
Are
it's-
they all Californians?
yeah, like
you have to send me a link.
so
So
like
it's like
it,
a whole
it,
bunch
ac-
of Keanu Reeves.
it actually feels like Rockstar are the people doing the support themselves, which I mean maybe that's why they're hanging up.
That's the image I got.
Like,
It-
hey
it-
dude, welcome to Tech Spot.
Yeah, it was. It was like, it was like, hey,
Chilling out with
this
it,
is Jason speaking. What kind of? He's like drowsing off. That
Yeah.
basically.
And one of the guys
90%
sounds like
of the
he's
time.
eating chips while he does it. And like,
What do you want? I can, yeah. And then it's like, yeah, sorry, we gotta, and he's actually like reading, so you can actually feel him read. He's like, we've gotta, it's nothing. I can't do anything to help you now. I gotta hang up.
yeah. So like I actually don't think it's outsourced because every company that I've ever called that has outsourced stuff at least have, professional mannerisms. I might not be able to understand them all the time, or they might talk too fast or something, but they never sound like they're eating chips.
They never will, and they'll never have hang up in the script, and that is just because who's gonna hire them if they keep hanging up on the customers and the customer support? This is Rockstar. This has Rockstar's
it's just
name written all over it.
Bunch of
And-
dudes going, yeah, like, sorry, we'd like to help you, but,
You've already given us your money, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
We get a bird.
they said they had this other guy in the same call go, like in the same video clip go, you know what, if you bought it from Rockstar Warehouse, we would be able to replace it with the warranty we gave, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, did you buy it from Rockstar Warehouse? And then he's like, no, I bought it from Green Man Gaming and all that. And then he's like, no, I can't help. Hangs up.
Yeah.
And then this person reached out to Rockstar to check if they have this warranty thing, and they got a response, no, that wouldn't cover this. So they're just saying whatever that
Oh,
comes
you
to their
screwed
mind.
anyway.
So I think the moral of the story with today's episode
Don't buy it
is
from Rockstar.
big companies that you thought made awesome games should be treated
shit.
with a bit of caution. And
They're
with
just
that,
a-holes.
with that, we will go to the intermission. We'll see you again shortly, guys.
Hey.
Bye.
See ya.
Wake up in the chamber with a bad head. Everybody in the lab dead. How about a hot flash? This is dead right. Get a dead right. Hit a head cry. Yo, God, gonna go below you a postcard. Oh, darn, life is so hard with no halves, let alone half. Like a diet with low carbs, but I like it so far. Life now has a worth and a purpose. Find out what on earth is occurring. Wipe out any vermin disturbing.
Hey guys, as a gamer, you want to have custom merchandise, whether it be t-shirts or mugs, you name it. And Gift Inc. is the way to go if you want custom merchandise at a very reasonable price. So Ronan, you guys were at Comic-Con, you had a blast. But how do we get in touch with you if we want Gift Inc. merchandise?
At the moment, we can get us on Facebook, facebook.com/giftinc. Soon to be up and running is our website, www.giftinc.com. Should be up in the next few days, hopefully after the podcast.
Fantastic. So that's facebook.com/giftinc and www.giftinc.com. Coming soon, I would say. So check it out. A lot of things. You can customize everything. You can put your game dialogue on. You can say you took an arrow to your knee. I don't care. Go check it out. I'm sure you guys do a lot of gamer-oriented business as well, right, Ronan?
Oh, definitely. You can send us, like your favorite screenshots of the games you've been playing. We can add all sorts of different texts. We can customize whatever you want on t-shirts, mugs, keyrings, dog tags, iPhone
Awesome.
covers, all sorts of stuff.
That is awesome. Go check it out.
Must have been some sex, not to mention giving birth to it. How much can bums stretch? But enough talk of proportions and awkward contortions to pull a portal shut goes for the goriest abortion. Freeman, G-Man.
And that was some more of the Half-Life epic rap by Dan Bull, and we're back, guys. Before we get back into our normal stuff, we've got a couple of ad hoc topics, I guess, different to normal.
Yep.
First one is Game Guru, who we recently covered on the website. Is a software. Or Gavin, do you want to intro Game Guru? Explain what it's about?
Yeah, Game Guru is just a very straightforward software. If you're someone who doesn't know the coding side, doesn't know the complicated side of game development, but you still want to try out and make yourself a little level so you and your friends can play, Game Guru lets you do that. I tried FPS. I think you can make RTS as well. And you can make your own levels, you can make your own multi-level game, and it has multiplayer capability. So that's Game Guru. You can check out the article in full at the website.
Yeah, and as someone who does a bit of game development myself, it is very straightforward. I can't remember the name of the type of editors, but they're kind of like the front page and Dreamweaver for web design, that sort of thing for game design. So you kind of just drag and drop everything where you want it and set some properties. And away you go. So Game Guru have very kindly offered us a key to give away. So anyone who is interested in getting into game development and wants to find an an accessible software to start with, all we need from you to enter this giveaway is jump on Twitter. Or I guess Facebook. We didn't really discuss that, but we'll say at least Twitter.
Yeah.
Try on Facebook. We'll see how we
yeah.
go. Jump on Twitter, and we just want you to promote the podcast either via the YouTube version or the website version, and include the hashtag GameGuru so that we can get a little bit of
tag us with our
Shodcast.
Yeah, tag us. Either tag at Shoddy Pixels
mention Shoddy Pixels
or one of us individually, someone, so that we actually know that you've entered it. Otherwise, we're not going to sit there and go through every single tweet that exists.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want a chance to make your own game with a very simple, accessible editor, not simple in a bad way, simple as in easy to pick up, then jump on Twitter, and promote the podcast with a link, and include the hashtag GameGuru, and make sure we know about it.
Yeah, mention us, be it Poison Gift, Red Dwarf Trekkie, Pingsbury Place, or Shoddy Pixels. And Ronan has one which Ronan doesn't even know about. So,
so don't if you want to actually have a chance at winning, don't include Ronan.
because he never checks.
And so next
Facial
up,
monitor.
next up, we're also going to have a quick discussion.
Oh, and just before we move on, the winner's going to be announced on the next podcast.
Yeah, so you got 2 weeks to enter. Well, it's like 10, 11 days really, but
2
2 weeks between podcasts and announcing a winner.
Yeah.
Anyway, next conversation is Ronan, myself, and Rach were recently at podcast Comic Con. Ronan's business, Gift Inc., had a stall there, and we were all working there, as you would have heard in the little intermission bit. But we're not actually going to talk about the business side. We're just going to have a quick chat about how interesting Comic Con was. This is my first Comic Con. I believe you guys have been to a couple before, though, haven't you?
Oh yeah, we've been to a few.
So I had very little idea what to expect. I knew there was going to be lots of people in outfits, and that was really about it as far as I knew what to expect. Lots of people as well, and that was fairly accurate. That's pretty much what it was. And on top of that, lots of very enchanting songs on the Wii Just Dance.
Oh my god.
So, to give a bit of background to that, guys, the stall we were at was right next to the eating area, which was right next to a demo stage for Wii Just Dance. And they had, I think, maybe paid for royalties to use 6 different songs. So
Over and over and over and over and over again.
Until the second day, where they played
6 different songs. And
over
then went back to those first 6 songs. That was the best part. But we saw a lot of different costumes. I mean, I've got a couple of probably maybe 200 photos I need to get around to getting off.
Oh, everything from Scooby-Doo to Halo, Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah, Thelma was there. There was some guy dressed up as Thelma.
Oh, that's right.
I was impressed to see a lot of guys dressed as female characters and owning it.
You go, boys.
Yeah.
There was a lot that were really self-conscious about it as well, though.
Maybe lost a bet or something.
Like Wolverine without his t-shirt, you know. Yeah, he was so self-confident.
I think the ones that we saw most were definitely Doctor Who, though. Like, there was so many doctors there. And the second one, like, I was really surprised at the lack of like conventional costumes like Superman, Batman. There was a handful of them, lots of Spider-Man's really bad ones.
Batman with the
Batman owned it as well. He was walking around like,
I'm Batman. Deluxe, you know, $100 or $1,500, you know, costume.
Yeah.
Props to him. You know,
but I think he was the only Batman. Like, there might have been some people in a black mask who were doing it.
There's a couple of kiddies running around in Batman suits.
Yep.
Yeah. A few Iron Mans, some...
Joke's on you, he was the real Batman.
Obviously. Like, everyone there's the real one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Batman.
What do you reckon the best costume you guys saw was?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. What was the most impressive costume or creative, I guess?
What was that pirate dude? Was he supposed to be from
The
Pirates of
steampunk
the Caribbean?
dude? Or...
Yeah, the steampunk one.
I think that was just generic steam. Oh, that.
Yeah, I thought it was a generic steampunk.
Yeah,
I don't think there's steampunk in Pirates of the Caribbean. So,
yeah, but pirates and steampunk kind of go together. Like,
I think
right.
the best costume was that sort of chubby bald guy at the door that dressed like a security guard. But
yeah, like he knew what he was doing.
What, you mean the security guard?
Well, he dressed like a security guard, but I don't think he was doing much.
The chubby guy with the security guard outfit.
There was a really awesome Princess Leia slave girl costume.
I didn't see any of them.
I didn't see that one.
That
like,
was all
heads
around
up.
with the five.
We have photo, video, evidence.
I think the best ones I saw. I was really impressed by a lot of Attack on Titan costumes.
Yeah.
But I think the best one I saw, if I discount like the actual people I know are cosplayers for a living, so like the Master Chief costume and the Optimus Prime costume.
Optimus Prime, oh yeah.
The chick that my partner's actually friends with, that was the District 9 guy.
Yes.
Oh,
Like
Amazing.
the main guy from District 9 when he's halfway through turning. So like her face was all like half changed and she had a claw on one hand and she did a really good job. I don't know if that's cheating because she does cosplaying a fair bit as well. So, but
there was a zombie Queen
not
Elizabeth.
cheating.
yes, there was, and it was really cool, especially the first day. I think there was more costumes the first day, but the first day, heaps of people got makeup done by a stall there. So like they were doing free makeup, and you get like a bullet shot or a cut on your neck or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Just looked like there was all these zombies cruising around.
Yeah. And it was even scarier when you watch people like peel off their like
Oh.
scars,
Yeah.
which actually look like you're ripping flesh apart. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, you would have loved it, Govind.
Nice. Yeah. Thank God it was in Adelaide.
I think the only other thing I really want to mention is the Daleks. There was two remote controlled
always
Daleks
awesome.
cruising around, and they were, you know what
Actually,
Daleks
there
are,
was
do you,
4.
Govind?
Not really, no.
Okay,
Doctor
they're a
Who.
robotic enemy from Doctor Who, and they're like the ultimate enemy in there.
Right.
Exterminate, exterminate.
They had a white, black, blue, and the army camo version as well. There was
Yeah.
4 there.
Oh, okay, I only saw 2, but what made it for me is that they had them cruising around by remote control, but there was someone else somewhere talking for them, interacting with people. So, like,
Yeah.
the Dalek would go up to the line for people trying to get photos with Michael Shanks or Billy Piper, and be like, "Why are you lining up here? Exterminate!" And all that
They've
stuff.
actually got a video and an audio, the whole lot, like,
Yeah.
synced up in there.
Yeah,
And like the best one, I think I was wandering around, and one of them was like, "Oh, you know, your mum's a trash can."
which is funny because they look like trash cans, Gavin.
Yeah.
And then one's like, the humans are over here. I'm going to get coffee.
Yeah, because they were battling and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Exterminate.
it was interesting. I will say I was disappointed by the lack of video game stuff. There was an Adelaide Indie panel that we didn't really get to, but there wasn't like I was expecting maybe some VR rigs and that sort of thing to be demoed, but it was at least in Adelaide it's definitely a lot more aimed towards movie and comic culture than video games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but that-
unfortunate. We have, like, you know, AvCon and OzComic-Con. I mean, guess one's more sort of comic book culture and the other one's more anime
Yeah,
sort of orientated, but we don't have a true gaming
yeah.
sort of con.
No, yeah.
Until PAX.
Is there
Until
EA
PAX.
or
I was gonna
PAX?
ask.
But that's in
Yeah,
another
PAX.
state.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like it's not an
Yeah.
Adelaide-based
Melbourne.
one, so
I mean, Sydney.
yeah, and like there's
Melbourne.
EB
That's
World
right.
over in Sydney as well, and like there are, and like even the Melbourne and Perth versions of Comic Con have Oculus Rift and Samsung VR and that there. So like
Yeah.
we just missed out.
We just had green screens and demonstrations
And Just Dance.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yay!
I can't believe you don't
And
consider
Silent
that as a
Disco.
game. That's
Silent
like
disco
game
is
of the
always
year.
fun. It's fun to watch people like dancing away to nothing.
No music.
They got these giant headphones that make them look like Mickey Mouse, but they were just they're gyrating, going, "Oh yeah, it's cool." It's like,
And on that lovely, colourful picture, Govind, hit us with the release roundup.
Well, it's a pretty busy couple of weeks, but the one I'm actually very excited about is Project Cars, believe it
Yep.
or not. That's coming out on the 7th of May on PC, X1, as well as PS4, European continent.
so get your throttle on.
Gets it the next day, and Wii U gets it on the 12th of May.
Now I'm just going to
one-
interject there. On the GameSpot
Right.
article I've got open for our conversation earlier, they say that it's
Right.
hitting PC on May the 7th and Xbox One and PS4 on May the 12th. So I'm just gonna. Like, I don't know which
So,
one's correct.
One of the sources that I do use. One of the sources that I do use is GameSpot to get the dates.
Okay.
So I guess they're contradicting themselves at this point.
It's like I don't know which one's most recent. So just
yeah,
just
so,
it's somewhere around those days.
It's coming in this fortnight. Another one is, of course, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood comes on PC on the 4th of May. That's actually the first one to come out of the highlight ones, at least. And the next day, PS4 and Xbox One get their versions. Then we have Lemma come out on PC
Yeah.
on the 12th.
That game is
Okay.
awesome. I've been playing
Yes,
that. There should be an
yep.
article up soon, but that is a very good
Yep.
game.
Yeah, I saw the game and I knew you loved it when you tried it out, and I was like, yeah, I have to put this.
What's
in.
that about?
And
It's a
another-
first-person parkour platformer.
It's Dead Core.
Yeah, I was looking forward to the Wolfenstein, but no.
Wolfenstein: The Old Blood is a standalone prequel for the New Order. So if you haven't played the New Order, don't worry, you can still enjoy the Old Blood and then play the New Order.
Apparently, it's
and
like
not get
completely
spoiled.
shunning modern conventions for shooters as well. There's lots of articles about how it's just like uber retro, and it's fine with that.
So I'm guessing the health doesn't regenerate, stuff
I
like
don't know.
that.
I didn't play the New Order, so
I haven't either. My last Wolfenstein was Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Achtung! Right, and then we have Trains, a new era coming out.
And
Because you love
Baltimore.
trains, I had to focus on that.
Is that a train sim?
May the 14th. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's
not World of
Trains-
Subways though.
no,
saying.
not World of Subways, no.
Okay.
And that's about it for this couple of. You'll have the article with a massive list in there. These are just the highlights that I
Yeah,
focused on.
As
And,
always,
yeah.
do check out. There will be a few articles to go along with the release of the podcast on the website. Make sure to check them out,
Yep.
and anything else we've
Right.
done as well. So that
That
brings
might-
us to our top 3 this fortnight, which was top 3 boss battles. So Ronan, you are up first.
I don't know if they're the top 3, but they're the 3 that I remember most, I guess.
Okay.
I'll go with number 3 would be, I don't know how to say this, but Nihilanth.
I know who you're talking about.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
Did I say that kind of right? Nihilanth?
I think it's Neolanth, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think you're close enough.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do.
A little bit of a pain in the ass, but, you know,
Definitely memorable.
warping all over the place, you know, falling down into the goo, jumping around and shooting it into its... It looks like a weird baby space alien that occasionally its head opens up and you shoot it in the glowing brain bits.
Such a weird
Dan-
boss at its time.
Yeah.
Talking about Dancing Baby from Ally McBeal.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka.
I wanted
You
to shoot
paint a
it
very
just
visual
about as
picture,
much,
Ronan.
okay? But yeah. Wasn't great, but yeah, very bad graphics from... Oh, it was good, I guess, back in the day.
Good, yeah, definitely.
But moving on to Metal Gear Solid.
The
I must
cutscene
do
from
this.
number 4.
Yes,
No.
after about 4 hours of cutscenes, or actually probably more like 25 hours of cutscenes,
That's the boss, right?
which you couldn't move on from. Yes, but actually the cutscenes are the boss.
That's the boss battle.
If you can put up through those, you can kill anything that comes, you know, into the actual gameplay. Well, there's one called Psycho Mantis.
Oh my god, you stole my pick.
You're not meant to reveal that, Kevin. Come on.
Because there was a point, you know, like, people would sit there and they're going, what the hell's going on? It's kicking my ass. I don't know what the thing's happening.
I know.
But you had to actually take your controller, like, pull it out of your, you know, player 1 port, stick it
Yep.
in the player 2,
Yep.
because there was it used to be able to read your thoughts. So every time you went to make a move, it'd counteract that. You had to plug it into the second port controller, and then it wouldn't be able
Right.
to read what you were doing, so you could actually fight it, like as a
So it's not so much you
normal
had
boss.
to, that was just one way to make it easier.
Oh, it
No,
was the
no.
best way, and
That-
pretty much the only
yeah,
way to do it.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also drop some stuff about that when my
Yeah.
list comes out. But yeah.
So I'll let Govind extend on that.
Okay.
So, number 1, Batman Arkham City, Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
Holy shit.
I like the way that. Oh, did I take another one?
Maybe.
No, I just
remember
like the way he reacted to what you did in the game. Like,
Yep.
the way you moved, the things you broke, he reacted and then changed the way he. So every time you play him, it's not quite
He
the same.
evolved. Yeah.
You'd have
I
to.
remember.
I mean, if you play him sort of, you know, 70, 80 times, like, you'd see the patterns. But
Yeah.
generally, he just reacted to what you did in the game.
Right. Yeah.
I like Killer Croc from the first Batman game. That was a good boss battle.
Oh, okay.
But that's not my
I
pick.
just-
But it is
found
my
that
turn,
easy.
so...
But anyway.
No, I just enjoyed the battle, that was all.
Okay.
But my 3, I had so much trouble. I regretted picking this topic as soon as I picked it, because
Yeah.
I'm a big
regret
boss
having to
battle
answer
fan.
it.
So I actually ended up making a list, deleting that, then looking up top boss battles on the internet, disregarding theirs, and then just picking 3 at random. So
Same thing.
they're 3 really good ones, but I cannot
No.
put the top ones up. So in no particular order, I've got the 13th Colossi from Shadow of the Colossus called the Phalanx. If anyone's played this game, it was the giant flying sandworm that you had to like run along. It was like massive, like it was the length of probably like 5 football fields sort of length.
Kind of like June, but yeah.
And you needed to like run along on your horse and then jump off your horse, jump onto the fins of the sandworm as it was flapping them down, climb up the fins, then like crawl along its back and stab it in its weak points that were spread all along its back. It was just like this really beautiful, like completely different boss, but like that goes for all the bosses in that game. They're really well made, but so that one's a good one. The Hydra from God of War 1, like the first boss that you come up against in God of War 1 was really fun. Like I'll always remember that boss because like that was a really big deal for consoles at that time, having a boss on that scale sort of thing. And then the hyper mutated Flytrap from Bulletstorm. If anyone's played that game's full of cool moments. The Flytrap is this massive like carnivorous plant, and it's in a circular arena, and it shoots roots out underneath you. It's kind of the arena at least reminds me a lot of the Poison Ivy battle in one of the Batman games. But you've got to like
the original one. Oh, second one.
Yeah, I think the second one. I can't remember. But you've got to like slide around. Like Bulletstorm has that awesome slide. You've got to slide all the time, and then you've got to once you've taken it down the first 3 like waves of the boss, then the last one it spits out this like plant repellent or something like that, and you've got to like slide into them and kick them into it, and it's just crazy fun. Really good boss. But so they're 3 of my picks. Definitely not the top 3, but I give up on trying to put them in order. Govind, what do you got for us?
Starting off, I'm going 3-1. So third one is Bunker from Borderlands 2.
Oh yeah.
We played it co-op, and he was just
I think
the biggest boss.
Oh no, you told saying go.
What? What do you? Me and Michael played it on co-op. I think that's what he was trying to allude to.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest boss at that point. Like you know.
Michael or the boss?
Depends on the day.
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay. So Bunker was just like it was awesome because there were so many things going on at that time.
And we were very underleveled when we got to him. We got sick of side questing.
So we had to jump on boxes so that we wouldn't get hurt by the laser. We had to dodge the bullets. We had to make sure he died. It was just an awesome fight, and you got a ton of loot when he went down, so that was awesome.
I reckon because we were so underleveled, it probably took us about an hour.
Right. Yeah, I think we the first time. The second time, I think it took like 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Just like down. Second pick is Alduin from Skyrim. Was an awesome boss for me because he was a dragon, and dragons are freaking awesome. And he was
talking what I love.
I actually liked the other dragons more than Alduin in Skyrim.
Well, I played the game first on PS3, so I didn't play with like the bigger dragon mods and all that stuff.
No, I'm talking about the vanilla ones. I thought by the time you got to Alduin, he was really like run of the mill, just because you've been through so many dragons.
I played it on Xbox.
See, that's the thing.
When I got up there, it wasn't hard. I just sort of killed him.
Yeah, I just played just the main quest. I didn't do any of the side stuff the first time I played it. So I was actually, I think,
he was underleveled.
Yeah, and he was hard.
I was overleveled because I did every side quest.
Yeah, the second playthrough, I did everything I could.
Just 2,000 hours in that one.
Yeah. But it was just awesome because you went to this special magical place. I think Savangard, I think was the name of the place. Yep. It had awesome music on, and then it just felt like a really big moment in the game, and that was awesome. But number 1, Ronan stole my pick, Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah.
He mentioned, what he said is right. Like if you have to change the controller port, or else it would copy your attack. Like you press A, it would counter A. He would know because it's cheating on the other side.
Yeah.
Then he also did this was on PS2, by the way, so I don't know about PC. I don't know what the enemy did, boss did on the PC. Another thing was he would make the screen black out, right? And then read out and comment on your memory data stuff. Like, why do you have a save file of blah blah blah? That is just lame. He would mess you up in midst of a fight. Your screen blacks out, and then the guy starts commenting on your save data files, and then he would switch controls, like just swap. Like jump would be shoot, shoot would be jump. He would just mess with your PS2 system.
So it's like the upside down hedgehog in Wacky Wheels. No one knows that reference to that.
Yes, I do, but worse. Put that over. Worse.
He really messed you up because you weren't until that point in the game. There's no like fourth wall breaking instance, and this guy comes on, and you're like, oh my god, my game's going bad, and then it blacks out, and then you're like, oh shit, my PS2 just broke, and then you have to go all through all that. So yeah, that was a better challenge and more fun fight than the final boss fight of Metal Gear Solid, which was also alright, but yeah.
I mean,
Okay, and Rach, what do you got for us?
So mine are in no particular order. First
Are they
one,
the top three or just three random ones?
Just three random ones.
Okay.
I could honestly remember. Last
They're the
minute,
randoms.
much. So first one's going to be Mirabelle from Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
That's what I've played recently. Shut up, Ronan. Basically, this, and excuse the language, bitch, took me 2 hours to defeat.
Okay.
Even though it was the same thing over and over and over and over again. So I kept jumping or I kept getting hit by something.
That's
and I
okay.
kept dying
Gavind loves infinite runners, so...
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. Definitely.
there was a lot of rage during that 2 hours of just trying to kill that stupid witch.
That was such a girly giggle.
Number 2 is Riku Replica from Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
And it was battle in the Queen's Castle, I think. That is as far as I ever got with that game. I could never,
so you never
ever get...
You never went up against Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts?
No.
Okay.
Every time I've tried to get past that part, I get stuck, I get frustrated, I give up, I go back, I get stuck, I get frustrated. And yeah, so I really do one day want to be able to get past it, but that was probably the hardest boss I've ever battled. And then there's, now I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correct, Al Maulim from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's Al Maulim, I think.
Yeah, no real particular reason, but I absolutely love the Assassin's Creed series. What was that?
He was singing Aladdin for you.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, I love the first at least 3 or 4 games of Assassin's Creed, and I really enjoyed that one. It was a lot of fun. And
I'm glad you picked that one because the first game's the best one, I reckon. That was a good boss battle.
Yeah, and the rage obviously came after it with cliffhanger ending. But you know, you get that.
Yeah, followed
the
by all the
non-stop
bad
running into
games.
walls. But
yeah, pretty much. So, but that's my top 3.
Nice. Okay, so that was a pretty interesting mix. I will say I'm surprised you guys both picked that one from Metal Gear Solid because when I was looking up top boss battles, there was another Metal Gear Solid one listed. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't that one.
Liquid Snake or the end?
Metal Gear Rex. That's the final.
Metal Gear Rex,
the end or Liquid Snake or they're easy. They're bullshit kind of crap.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a multi-layered boss battle. So it
Did you
was
look
the
up
final.
Mojo, IGN, or some other sellout kind of YouTube?
I don't even know what websites they were. I just looked up top boss battles in games and just clicked on like the first 10 results.
Yeah.
Just clicked through them to see for ideas and didn't like any of them. So.
If you look through the majority of them, Psycho Mantis will show up. Like in the top 20 at least of all.
Because he messed
time.
with you in so many ways at that point in time. This was 1998.
If you didn't think outside the box, if changing controllers, from one controller to controller port 2, you couldn't complete the game basically.
Ah, Konami. Look where we are now.
And the thing is, like, this wasn't like recently where you just Google what's the best way to do it.
You had to get a fucking strategy guide back then.
Yeah, and you didn't
You didn't have to print it off so you could read it while you're playing.
Yeah, and it didn't all happen all the time. They just alternated. Like
Yeah.
sometimes he would do the blackout thing, sometimes he would do the control thing. So it was just it was a mindfuck beyond belief.
Yeah.
So.
So guys, there is a
Like
lot
the
of really
90s.
good boss battles. Tell us what ones we forgot. Leave us some comments, and I know there is like literally hundreds I could have listed there.
Oh yeah, there's
like-
always gonna be the
Go.
person with the comments going, "Oh, you didn't list this,"
Yeah.
because we didn't. We had to pick 3. So
There's
So give us-
500 and we had to get 3.
Yeah, so give us your picks down in the comments, and we will move on to the challenge. So, Rach, you issued the challenge last time. Do you want to give us a quick recap of what the challenge was, and then we'll discuss how it went?
So I challenged for you all to play Plague Inc. Evolved,
Yep.
and you need to use the zombie strain. And shut up. And the winner was going to be the closest to 60% world's population zombified. I said 30% world's population dead. It should have been 40, but oh well. And you would have got a
that actually does
bonus
work, though.
if you got 0 to 5% cure only. Now, I've only
Right.
ever played the iPad version. I did not realise that you had to unlock the zombie version on the freaking PC game. My bad.
So basically, we all left this to the last minute for various
Yeah.
reasons.
Then we-
And
oh,
Govind, I think,
fuck.
fired it up 2 or 3 days ago, and I got a message on Skype saying the zombie mode isn't unlocked unless we play all the other modes in brutal. What the fuck? So
So 8 hours later, no, we couldn't unlock.
yeah, so basically what we all did is, I think we all just basically decided through various conversations to go with the bacteria mode.
Yeah.
And give
that
that a
was
go.
the first available one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first one, because none of us have played the PC version. I haven't actually played the game at all before this. So, Ronan, do you want to give us your quick
I mean,
deal how you
yeah, I
went?
mean, I've done the whole iPad version where I've played every single virus under the sun and the zombie version, which I might upload some footage that I think I might have captured through AirPlay Reflector or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But I went with the computer version, and yeah, I just kind of killed everyone with my
Like how
bacteria.
he's trying to mumble
I mean,
it
I'm
in
no
so
good
that...
at actually getting 60% this, 30% that. I just kill everyone.
Yeah,
Wiped out the world.
My
I
bad.
had more or less the same experience. I mean, again, I'd never played the game. I jumped into it. Was like, what the hell is all this? Like, was very, very overwhelmed at the beginning because I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, how the fuck am I going to get those numbers? Fired it up, and within, I was like talking to the camera, doing the Let's Play thing, going like, I think I'll go for India. I don't like Govind, so I think I'll infect India. And then I accidentally clicked on Saudi Arabia, and that turned out to be an awesome one because everyone just died. But as a result, I didn't get the right numbers either. So then that was on casual difficulty.
well,
I think Egypt was
Right.
probably the best. I thought about attacking Govind, but then I went, Dubai.
what is
India,
wrong with people?
Well,
attacking me?
then I fired it
Damn.
up again because I actually really enjoyed the
yeah.
game. So I fired it up again in normal without the intent on recording it, and was like, I'm gonna play smart. I'm just gonna try, and if I get anywhere close, I'll hit record again because I'd only spent half an hour on the first one. So I got 55% of the world infected, I think, and then I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going for this. Hit record, and then didn't really think about how when people die, then my infected number goes down.
Owned.
So then I ended up with like 25% infected and everyone dead. So that didn't work either. So I'm nowhere near winning. So, Govind, how'd you go?
Well, the thing is, when you have, this is what I wanted to ask. When you have a bacteria mode, you cannot pause at the infected level. It will go down, and you will have 0% infected and 100% dead because your infected keep dying.
Yeah, but the
only-
idea was to try and get.
The only
The
way
way you would have had to have do it was to have
Yeah.
over the path of your game 90% infected, but then 30% of the total world die, so you're left with 60% infected.
But that
Is very hard.
Scenario
What you have to do is,
only
like,
works with
as-
like the zombie virus because
As
then they
people
stay.
die and you see the infection rate, what you got to do is then de-evolve your virus so it's not as lethal.
No, I think you could
and
do
that
it
way,
if
like,
you.
you can stop the amount of deaths that happen. So if you want to stop it exactly at 60%, 30%.
No, I reckon because we didn't have to finish the game, wasn't it? We were just stopping once it hit the level we were happy with.
Oh, I thought you had
Rach?
to.
I thought we
okay.
had to finish.
Or did we?
Yeah,
Yes,
specify.
that's
The
very
thing
complex and
is-
confusing. But, yeah.
The
Well,
thing
we-
is, when Rach issued the challenge, she meant the zombie strain.
Yeah.
In zombie strain, you can still get a victory scenario with infected and death.
Even if they cure the disease, they can't stop the fact that zombies are out there. That's why,
Okay.
it's, you know.
But
Okay, well-
with bacteria, it's
That's
either
the
win or
problem.
lose. There's
We'll
no
see.
middle
The way I
ground.
interpret it, because we had a conversation when we did it where I had said if you were happy with your results after 10 minutes, you could stop. And
Yeah.
Rach said, yeah, you probably
Yeah.
won't be happy, but you could. So I just figured we could get to a point where
okay.
it was 60
Oh,
and 30
okay.
split, and then
well,
stop.
Well, I don't know. I wiped the world out. I started in Germany
Yeah, it sounds like we're all just too
because
good
I thought,
at
you know,
mass murder.
Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, I
and,
mean, I'm just good at killing
I mean,
people,
Gavin went for the
100%.
home of it, so...
So yeah, I guarantee I lost. I just killed everyone.
I started in Germany, and because I thought, you know, Europe would be a good place, and I thought that was smart, but then I realized it was really stupid because they have really good health,
yeah,
stuff.
I think.
was
But
in-
they still managed
I think
to you know, wipe the
Egypt
place out.
or Indonesia are the best two places to start. Generally,
Ah,
I think
okay.
as long as you pick, like, somewhere in the Middle East or, like, Southeast Asia, you've generally got
Right.
a good chance with bacteria, at least, because it's high humidity and all that sort of thing.
Right,
you want
and
you want
I
air
don't
I
force
did-
ports.
Yeah.
yell out with celebration when I saw a red plane go from Germany all the way to Australia, and then yell out, "There you go! This is for you, Rachel." Doing this.
Take it all through, you bastards.
So,
That's okay. We spent plenty of time attacking you, so it's alright.
So,
yeah,
I
I know.
will
Michael wanted to start off, but yeah, the whole world was wiped out. My thing was cured 70%, like the cure was developed, but by that time everyone was dead. In 764 days.
okay,
Really?
So
I
Figure
killed
that out.
everyone in 500
yeah,
with
because
like
I started
a
in
2%
Germany.
cure.
It was stupid. Yeah, it was a stupid move
Oh,
when you
yeah.
start in the health.
I'm
Healthy
assuming
place,
Ronan caned us in that regard because he's played the game so much, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like 480 days and 100% death, etc.
Yeah, so you
No,
weren't, you weren't that far ahead of me.
100% death. Their cure was just ahead, developed 70%.
I think the
So-
lowest cure I got was about 20.
Oh, sweet, I had the lowest
13,
cure.
13 to 20%.
Mine was
something like
less than 5, I'm pretty sure, when I wiped everyone out. I'll check the footage later. But I will
Nice.
say, before we go on, I am very impressed with that game. The amount of data that the game seems to go through, or at least pretends to go through, is
You
awesome.
didn't think this
Yeah.
was going to be a, bit of fun, did you?
No, I didn't think it was. I thought I'd always wanted to try the game because everyone plays it, but I wasn't expecting it to be fun. I was expecting it to be pretty boring and like Papers, Please without humor, like that sort of
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But it, like I'm pretty keen to play it more, and like I'm hopefully gonna play through and unlock the zombie mode because I want to try it out. But we'll see how that goes
Yeah.
with time.
I know you're not going to love me for saying this, but I think it's actually better on the mobile
Phone,
games
right.
than
Yeah,
it is on
yeah,
the PC.
I can see how it would be fun on the mobile, but I hate mobile games.
It is a
like,
touch-based game.
Because
You can,
with the
you can
mouse
sense
sensitive
it.
and everything, like you're clicking on different stuff. That's basically all you're doing is clicking on different stuff.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the iPad or Android, whatever, it's just so much easier to touch things, pause things, move around.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
check
like
everything.
Game Boys either, though. So
Yeah,
It is a
Um,
very touchscreen friendly game.
it
I'll say
is.
that.
It is basically made for
Because
a
you just
touchscreen.
pop bubbles. That's what it is. Even
Yeah.
when you're,
Yeah.
infecting and all that.
well,
Like
so recap of the challenges so far: Dead Core, Gavin's game crashed. Shoddy, Dying Light. Rach got
Your
really
footage
confused. My
failed.
footage failed, and Ronan still has to upload his.
Yeah, which is still failing.
Plague Inc. No one was able to play the challenge because of lack of
It
research.
wasn't there.
So Ronan, what have you got for us?
Alright, so I know everyone has this game and has, if not played it, will at least
Own it.
have, yeah.
Ooh.
Good start. We're off to a good
Oh,
I had so many different versions of different things that I was going to do. Like, there was...
Don't tell us, because you might use them later.
Well, I'm definitely using some of them later.
Okay.
But I thought of the first one where we could all play together to do this challenge at the same time.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's always a struggle to organise, but...
I know. Then I went, no, forget that. I'm going with something different. Just to punish people.
Oh, get on with it.
Okay, so this challenge is Serious Sam 3 BFE version.
Which you've been playing a lot of.
Only in the last few days.
You were playing a lot a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah, I think I put 20 minutes into it, but yeah, 7 hours in the last week.
Yep.
Just to check that this challenge is possible.
Is this the pink thing that shows
What?
up in the other ones?
Pink
What's the name of the game?
Serious Sam 3
Serious
BFE
Sam
edition.
3.
Oh,
We all own it.
Serious Sam. Right, yeah.
Serious Sam 3
BFE.
BFE
Yeah.
campaign. So you got to play campaign instead of survival or whatever. I was going to make survival, but it's just too brutal. So
Oh, Jesus.
campaign BFE episode. You got to play whoever completes the entire episode, or closest to, or if everyone completes it, then
Best time.
whoever did it in the fastest time. Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Okay.
Because the actual episode prizes of, what have we got? 4 levels.
Yep.
Submarine Pyro, Into the Spider's Nest, Broken Wings, and No Place to Hide. And it's got to be done on at very least serious difficulty.
I think we should pick a difficulty so everyone's on the same...
Right, so what difficulty?
Yeah.
Well, the only one higher than that is mental, and I don't think that...
Rage is sending in
so
like
serious...
Morse code messages, don't do it.
Serious is the highest level basically that is highlighted, and mental is unhighlighted, because when you click on it, it goes, "Are you fucking serious?"
Okay.
My sentiments exactly.
Okay, so we'll do the serious one then, I think, because otherwise you're going to have...
Mike and I, we're pretty good FPSs, and Gavin is fairly decent from the stuff I've seen of his previous Halos, Half-Lives and whatever else.
Oh god, yeah. That was good, but not good.
So basically you're trying to get back at Rage for Plague.
No, he's not. He enjoyed that game.
But, I did have a War Thunder thing, but I went, no, she would just rage quit the minute I mentioned War Thunder.
Okay.
I'm out.
So I feel like this is who's going to play the most out of the 2 hours wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm down.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Okay.
2 hours of
I mean,
footage.
I'm quite happy to do it myself. I mean, I tested it the other night, and...
Do you know if the campaign is like, it'll fit in 2 hours? Or is it
Yes,
just
it will.
It's only the first episode, he
Summer
said,
and Cairo
wasn't it?
should take about 10 minutes. Into the Spider Nest 15. Broken Wings 30. No Place to Hide 20. Something like that.
Well, Dead Core final
you
level,
can
the
actually-
record
You
is
can
2
complete it
minutes.
in about an hour and a half. I mean, if you're really good, you complete it in sort of an hour. You complete it in an hour and a half.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so I want to just put a point forward for questioning.
Mm?
Are we allowed to play through it on a lower difficulty first?
You'll have to record it, and that should come out
No.
in your 2 hours, I guess. If you are.
Gavin's all
Then
technical,
what's the point?
and Ronan's just no. No, I'm just asking because we didn't think about all these things for all the other challenges, so I'm just covering our bases.
I'm just thinking, no, should we just do it as a
First go.
going in holy shit, or
Okay.
we prepare ourselves like Dying Light? We could spend 12 hours leveling up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
No, I think going at
we have a
first.
grace period where we half hour level up, or just
See,
There is
that's
no
the
leveling
thing,
in
because
this.
I was under the impression that 2 hours included whatever you prepared.
okay. So
And
2
it's
hours
not just 2 hours
to
of footage.
do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
if you're really good and fast, it'll take you an hour. So the other hour is up to you.
Okay.
I'm never going to win one of these fucking challenges.
Well, Rach, you put up
we can
footage
have a
of the
battle
Plague
for
Inc.
third.
one, so you won that one, even though
for
you're not
second.
eligible.
But I gave the challenge, so it doesn't count.
That's okay. So what? At the beginning of this, before you guys came along, I think Gavin and I were discussing. Oh no, I think you guys were here, but we'll just give for the readers. This is going to be the last one of the initial ones where we just find all our feet. Then we're actually going to start keeping track of who won because they've all just gone horrible. So we'll do one cycle like this as a warm up, and then we'll start paying attention to it a bit more.
And start giving us ideas. If you want to see us do a challenge,
definitely.
leave comments, tweet us.
Exactly.
Jump
Give
on
us
the
something.
YouTube. We want to know what you want to see us
Watch
suffer
us be really bad. Yeah.
Okay,
something
so
out of our comfort zone and attack.
yeah. So moving on, we have early access highlight. What has everyone got? Ronan, you're up first.
Early access highlight. Oh yes, City Skylines.
Again.
Again? Okay, you got to stop picking the same games. Oh no, that was been playing last time, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the being playing, but
Okay. Well, I guess if you want to know more about City Skylines, go watch the
Check out
go
the
listen to the
last
last
last time
episode.
was Brandy King. But yeah,
So I've picked where is mine? Retro Pixel Castles,
Ooh,
which
nice.
is a cool little game. Basically a village sim where you like kind of like Dwarf Fortress, but not quite. Like you have a set of villagers and you can tell them what to do, but not directly. So you say build a house, and then you allocate a certain number of villagers, and they build it. And you're on like this map that's kind of suspended in space, and there's zombies and other enemies that come along, and you've got to try and make sure that your villagers are happy, fed, and breeding fast enough that they outdo the death from the zombies. And that, like, once you hit like day 14, you'll get like a zombie horde will come at you. So if you're not prepped for that, then you're in trouble. Really good game.
we need more.
It's a really,
It's
really
bulky.
good game. Like, anyone who's into those sorts of, like, not quite tycoon, not quite sim, somewhere in the middle games, give it a go. The developer is a really nice guy, really open to feedback and stuff on the forums, and he updates it fairly often, so that's always good as well. So, Retro Pixel Castles, give that a go.
Definitely, it's a really good game. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Gavin, what do you got for us?
I'm picking Dirt Rally, which is a rally game by Codemasters. They came out with Dirt way back. And they have
Codemaster's
this...
still a thing.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
was
they
back
are.
on PS2.
They've gotten bought
We were playing
by
Dirt.
a media company that owns a mobile corporation in India, so it's an Indian company now. Apparently.
Okay, I thought they got bought by THQ, and then no one bought them when THQ went out.
No. Reliance apparently bought them, which is a mobile company for in India. Dirt Rally is one of the. It's in the Dirt family because this is a brand they did a while back when they were with THQ, and then they stopped because they were focusing on F1 2014, 2015, blah blah blah, whatever, and now they just finally gone back and they've come back with a Dirt edition they're trying to do the simulation thing a little bit more than the arcade style. And it's been received very well across the board. I'm gonna check it out. I haven't played it yet. I haven't bought it, but I probably will buy it at some point. It's on Steam.
Ringing endorsement. I probably would buy it.
More than likely, yeah.
It's around $40 now, so I'm not sure if
that
it's
is a
$40
big asking price for an early access
Yeah, for an
title.
early access, yeah.
But then I guess it's
that's what
Codemasters as well. There's a less chance of them just upping and leaving the title at least.
There is less, but there's also there was a
can do
really
it.
small chance of THQ folding up. So yeah. So that's my early access highlight. It looks good. It looks like it's gone back to its basics and it's gone back to what worked with the series, and people are really appreciating it. So check it out.
I kind of
on
like that.
Steam.
Back in the day, that series was quite nice.
Colin McRae was my favorite.
Colin McRae, Rally, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, was that by
awesome.
Codemasters as well?
I think
feel
it
like
was
it might have
developed
been.
It was
by
back in the PS2
Codemasters,
days.
but yeah, I don't remember the developer. I just remember Colin McRae, Rally, and I remember him passing away. I think a couple of years ago or something.
But I'm actually looking at my wall of PlayStation games to find it.
While you do that, Rachel, what's your pick?
My pick's Killing Floor 2.
Okay.
Developed by Tripwire Interactive. As much as I'm over zombies, I have seen some gameplay and I really, really, really want to play it. It looks fun.
Okay, so that's hit early access just a couple of days ago, I believe. Now everyone can get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was in closed beta for a while there. Lots of people seem very impressed with it. A lot of people that loved Killing Floor seem to have been like, Killing Floor is shit. Oh wow, we didn't realise Killing Floor 2 is really good. So that's promising for someone in my perspective. I don't like Killing Floor at all. So to have people then realise that Killing Floor was actually bad, that's nice.
They've come out with. They've actually improved across the board from what I've heard. The gameplay feels better. The graphics is just.
It has an interesting art style, doesn't it? It's kind of like stylized, but not really.
Well, it is
as well.
very different from the first one. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually did like the first one, even though it's just a meat grinding mash fest of shooting whatever comes down the corridor. But they have extended a bit and better graphics.
Yeah. From what I've read, everyone's just saying
Slightly
that everything they've done is
gameplay.
better. Like they've just taken everything and turned it up a lot better.
The same thing. They've taken up a notch, even though it's still alpha, beta, whatever. It is, you don't drop any frame rates. It's extremely great graphics. It's the quality thing that most AAA games should have brought out.
Yeah.
But don't.
But
Optimization, basically.
yeah, I mean the optimization is perfect. I mean,
So far.
majority of people.
So far, I said.
So far,
Yeah.
so far. I'll go with that.
Yeah. And as always, as we've said other times, they are early access titles, so buyer beware, approach with caution, do some research about the developer, as
And the
some early
publisher,
access titles unfortunately never get finished, so you may be buying a game that will never get done.
What?
Reign of Kings is still in early access.
Oh my god.
And with that, that is the end of the Shodcast, guys. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel. We've got some more Borderlands pre-sequel. Claptastic Voyage footage coming.
Yeah.
Gavin has some car mechanic simulator, I believe.
Yeah, about 3 episodes. It's gonna be coming out over the days, and also be doing a couple more Scratch the Itch episodes as well.
We'll
So
hopefully have another Unreal Expectations coming very shortly as well.
Very shortly.
And there will be some footage of us playing Plague Inc. and not getting the challenge right.
Oh yeah, that's up there. Yeah.
And as always, we don't really plan that far ahead, so there will be other stuff. We're hoping maybe to do some of the new Shadowrun game. I might put up some clips
Chronicles.
from Lemma or Lima or however the hell you say the title. We never really plan what's going up on there. We've been a bit slack with it lately. Hopefully that'll get fixed up, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening or watching the logo or whatever you did during this fairly lengthy one in the end. Please leave us feedback, comments, tell us what we did bad, all that stuff. Tell us why Gavin is the worst member of the Shodcast and all that sort of thing.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Go on your
Like,
damn
comment,
channel.
do.
Our channel needs more subscribers.
Yeah, we haven't had one for like 2 weeks now. What the hell,
I
guys?
know, we're at like 10 now, I think.
10. That's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow us all on Twitter.
I subscribed.
Follow. Okay, so we're at 2, and 2 of them are members of Shoddy Pixels.
We're at 2.
Follow us all on Twitter. Follow the Shoddy Pixels Twitter, and as always, keep an eye on the site. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Guys later.
Bye.
See ya.
Man, who's on next? I'll wreck you trekking from the Landers End to land the complex. Yes. But hang on one sec, I think I've got the wrong specs. That baby looks gargantuan and these lenses can't be convex. Imagine the conception, that must have been some sex. Not to mention giving birth to it, how much can bums stretch? But enough talk of proportions and awkward contortions to pull the portal shut goes for the goriest abortion. Too far. The free man. G-Man, free man, G-Man.